This musical, as all musicals do, lives or dies on the numbers. I know this because I'm a big fan of musical theater. I grew up on musical theater. My father and I actually just put up a musical ourselves in Israel, which we will be bringing, I hope, to the United States at some point, about the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising. I like the original musical. I have some ideological problems with the musical that we can talk about, what it stands for. Okay, the original Oz books are innocent. They're for kids. They are not replete with a bunch of sort of woke ideology. I'm not a big fan of that. The songs are great. The lyrics are quite good. I think that Cynthia Erivo is uber talented, like preternaturally talented. She's great in everything, sort of like Taylor Swift. But overall, Oz looks beautiful. The costuming is wonderful. The lighting is done really well. And the idea was the Wizard of Oz, who was George W. Bush, kind of weird. It's sort of everything is candy colored, green skin. Didn't like that. Nessa is treated badly because she's in a wheelchair. It's very fun to look at. It's quite good. In any case, as a big fan of musical theater, a musical is only as good as the numbers.
This is Villain for All Seasons, Season 2, Episode 4. I'm Andrew.
I'm Dan.
And I'm Ben. If you guys wanted to kick it off in current events, how about that Kanye West? Back to his old bricks.
Yeah.
Spoofs and goofs from Kanye.
He's a perfect example of, like, you don't know what's real on the internet. Like, people started sending me that stuff, and I was like, okay, but, like, some of this is made up, right? He accused Elon of stealing his, like, Nazi thing.
I didn't see that.
Oh yeah,
he's like, you're stealing my brand.
Yeah,
bro.
I saw a photo of him like.
I was doing the Hitler thing.
Oh no, but he was. Then I saw a photo of him like holding up a note that said, "My account did not get hacked,"
while wearing like a plastic bag over his head or something.
Yeah, I was saying we should have started this episode all wearing plastic bags over our head.
No, my favorite was he said. He was bragging about how he turned down a meeting with like 2 Make-A-Wish kids. Three kids.
Amazing.
I don't follow any celebrities on Twitter or anything, but this was one time I actually had to go to the source and check it out. But no, the thing that I really enjoyed was the Guardian article I saw that he says he was diagnosed with autism. So that explains it.
That excuses it. No.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it worked. It worked for Elon Musk. It's been an interesting shift with the neurodivergent community over the past few years, where they just keep pushing the goalpost of what autism and ADHD and stuff excuses. You know, first it was just like, emotional labor, and you get to be an asshole and annoying and unpleasant and not do your job, and now it's like you can be in a Nazi shit. Carte blanche.
I didn't realize Kanye West announced he was diagnosed with autism.
Yeah, I went to a doctor. Was he diagnosed with anything else?
Yeah, they said he was pretty ill, but that was on the mic.
Well, this is also the thing with Kanye. You really shouldn't be mad at that man for anything he says, because he is deeply, deeply unwell. It's like when people are like, can you believe he said it? It's like, yeah, he's a schizophrenic person.
So wait, was the article, the Guardian article, written after these tweets?
I think before.
You're gonna have to take it down.
Yeah, it was like preemptive. He knew he was about to open a bottle of red and get on Twitter.
I could see that being the case. It was like a soft leak.
Imagine that. Imagine just being like, I'm gonna cause fucking chaos. I have enough clout to just like make everyone pay attention to me.
I just don't I mean, I guess it's just entertaining, but the thing is, like, is anybody shocked by this anymore?
No, I mean, it's just fun.
Doing this, and it's just fun. It's just good fun, because like, when's the last time he did anything? Like, he's just
his last 2 albums sucked.
He's kind of like the equivalent of like a homeless person on the train in Chicago or New York, but for famous people. Like, he's just kind of there to like sow chaos. Like, he's just going to show up at the Met Gala or something.
He did that. Didn't he show up to the Grammys and he wasn't invited or something, and his girlfriend was completely naked and he got kicked out?
Yeah.
Healthcare executives have Luigi to strike fear into them, and now celebrities have Kanye.
Yeah, true. Anthony Jackson here. Some of my bars this past 2 days have been almost just like Homer. I don't get it. Oh, Kanye tweeted that shit.
Yeah.
He's pushing
what a weird
the envelope.
reference.
Yeah, really odd.
Yeah.
Is he a fan?
That's who he is.
I mean, it sounds like he's striving to be Jesselnick level. So,
I mean, aren't we all?
yeah,
Aren't we all? Yeah.
He's on the free
already met the destination.
free puff train. He's like posted about that like 8 times.
Yeah, he's standing with Diddy. Somebody's got to,
It does tie into, remember the Aiden Ross guy? We used his clip. He couldn't pronounce authoritarianism.
Yeah.
I guess him and Kanye West had like this texting back and forth that Kanye like released, like they were DMing each other, and Kanye's like, we should meet up and do something, which seems like just such a low
album.
Like, why would you do an album? I don't know why they would like collaborate on anything. I assume it would just be a podcast. But then Kanye's like, but you have to call me sir. And then the next thing, like Aiden Ross wrote like 5 sentences, and after each one, he's like, sir, 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 sir. The next thing Kanye says, like, you're condescending. No one says sir that much. And then he's like, fuck you. It's just like, it's a lose-lose.
All right, I take it back. He's cool again.
He's pretty cool.
Genius. Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, it is the autism thing. Both Kanye and Elon Musk are just playing 3-dimensional chess, and none of us are on their level. Well, yeah, I guess in other entertainment news, Joe Biden has re-signed with CAA.
Wait, it's a re-sign?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was. Everyone
so he was
making
signed during the presidency?
No, before like in between being vice president and president.
Because that would be a conflict of interest.
Yeah, right.
Good for him.
Yeah,
clearly. Trump would do it. Trump would stay signed.
Trump doesn't need it.
Trump doesn't need it, yeah. He has like that Orson Welles contract. He can write, direct, produce, star. What did Biden do before? Did he appear in anything?
No, the thing is, it's more boring than you think it's going to be once you actually look at it, because it's for a lot of politicians to do it. It's for like speaking engagements and book deals, I think would be the big thing.
Yeah.
But I guess Biden was on like an episode of Parks and Recreation, I think. So you have that. But yeah, it's mostly for...
The guy's 82 and can't say a line. So what speaking engagement? Like, he doesn't really have a... Also, he's 82. Like, this is his post-career. Like, he's just done. Retire.
He should be. But, well, I'm sure there will be some shitty book that's ghostwritten coming out, and because he couldn't write even when he was all cognitively there, couldn't speak either.
It's funny that it happened the same week that Trump. What did he do with the Kennedy Center? I feel like I need to like check myself before I start making the accusations, but it sounds like he is nominating himself to be president of Kennedy Center for Performing Arts.
I think he fired the board, and then he declared himself the chairman or something.
Right.
I don't know.
I didn't know that the board
structured.
I didn't know that board members were nominated by the president. I thought it was completely an NGO.
Is the Kennedy Center just like the thing that they made after, how like presidents have libraries? Is that like Kennedy's version of that?
Like the Kennedy Center honorees, or like that's like the Medal of Freedom for artists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is very on brand for Trump to want to hijack the Kennedy Center. Maybe he just wants to like have complete creative control of what they're booking. From here on out, it's just all Andrew Lloyd Webber musicals.
Yeah. It's just I've got such a good gut reaction.
Hamilton, but they're white.
Oh yeah, he hates Hamilton.
What is he like?
He loves musical theater. Are you kidding? Like, he's a really big fan of like all that old. I'm sure he loves Cats. There is an old. This surfaced last year. You guys haven't seen this, where it's him talking about Phantom of the Opera.
No.
On Broadway, and it's like it's kind of endearing because he's like really excited and happy about it. It's the most human he's ever appeared.
Jesus.
Is Trump gushing over what a fabulous production Phantom of the Opera is.
Supposedly Business Insider has it's his favorite books, music, and movies.
Oh, this is already
debatable.
Donald Trump's favorite movies, TV shows, books, and music. So for film, we got Citizen Kane. Lie. No way.
Look at the next one.
Except he thinks that the media magnate, he's like, they treated him so unfairly. They took away his slot.
They said a lot of nasty things about him. It was very unfair. Okay, next we got Bloodsport. Now this I believe.
Whoa. Yeah. Two favorite movies.
Absolutely. Yeah, tough guys being dudes. Yes. Good, the bad, and the ugly. Yeah, I believe that. Just all old boomer men.
Yeah. Godfather.
Yeah.
Don't read into that too much.
Godfather, sure. Goodfellas, sure. Gone with the Wind. Yeah, he probably. Of
course.
Yeah. He's a Southern belle at heart, so that
Television,
makes sense.
Saturday Night Live. Yeah, he notoriously loves Saturday Night Live.
But the one starring him.
Home Alone 2's not on here?
Yeah, seriously.
He had creative differences with him. He wasn't happy about the edit. My big fat obnoxious boss.
Of course.
In a 2004 interview with New York Post, Trump revealed that he liked Fox's short-lived reality show, My Big Fat Obnoxious Boss, but only because it was a clear parody of him. I think it's an honor, Trump told the Post. We've been so successful with The Apprentice that at least they have the guts to admit that it's a knockoff, a comedic knockoff. Right.
His moments of humility are so odd.
Yeah. Okay, wait. I would just want to go through a few more of these. So books, All Quiet on the Western Front, bullshit. Don't believe it. But I guess, I don't know, from his generation, I think that's one of those books that everybody like had to read in high school. So
I remember reading that book. I don't remember anything about it.
I didn't have to read it.
No.
Great movie though. Music, Neil Young. Now that surprises me.
Doesn't seem like
all the music choices surprise me, except maybe Rolling Stones because they're a little vanilla.
Yeah,
but Queen, Elton John, absolutely. And Twisted Sister.
Yeah,
Twisted Sister just.
Elton John makes sense. Twisted Sister, I don't know. Twisted Sister makes sense to me.
I think they're just saying that because they use "We're Not Gonna Take It" in his rallies.
Right. Yeah.
But. He's not putting his Sony Walkman on with Twisted Sister, I don't think.
If he's listening, I'm not kidding. If he's listening to music, he's listening to show tunes. Like 100%.
That's so weird.
It's not a joke. Yeah, he loves musical theater.
Donald Trump singing show tunes in the bathroom, in the shower.
What if he has a beautiful voice?
God, it would upset me so much.
You guys have seen the Green Acres skit, right?
No.
He's singing Green Acres.
Was it on like SNL or something?
It was for some awards show. It was him and like Megan Mullally from Will and Grace, which again just shows how weird the world has become. Blessed in you.
It is weird.
Yeah.
Oh my God. He could have, this is him putting on, okay, the image of this is so funny because he's got like clearly like crisp new Carhartt overalls on and a white t-shirt holding a pitchfork.
Yeah.
With a straw hat singing next to her.
Yeah.
This is our president, dude.
Yeah.
This is our guy.
This is him like putting on the high vis vest and going inside the garbage truck. Like that's literally all it takes to fucking win in this country. Putting on a McDonald's hat.
Oh, I forgot about
the costumes.
Dude.
Bow down to the fucking king. He rules. Undefeated.
Quite literally.
What else is happening in the world?
Are we going to talk about any of the serious things?
I don't know. I
don't know.
We're not.
It's such a rough week. I mean,
the Elon stuff is super interesting to me, but I don't know if you guys want to talk about it. Everyone's talking about it.
I do just want to say I'll eat some shit on that one because I thought that Elon was going to be kind of like a Scaramucci character, like just a lightning rod for bullshit. But it seems like he actually is achieving some of the government efficiency, trying to cut programs.
You almost said goals there.
I mean,
almost. I don't know if these are achieving the goals necessarily. I mean, firing all the inspectors general, like the people who oversee like corruption and fraud within these agencies, and is kind of a funny move when that's your stated objective. And if anything, you would empower those people, not fire them.
Well, sacrifice anything to the deep state, right?
It's alarming because I mean, we know that he's an idiot, that's for sure, and we know that he's just like our generation's version of a robber baron. I expected him with this DOGE shit, if he was going to do anything, with it, would be just to fuck up anybody who is competing with him, fuck with any group that's going to be trying, any regulatory body that's going to oversee anything that directly affects his business. Which, by the way, I mean, it's pretty fucking rich for the CEO of fucking SpaceX and Tesla to talk about like people taking handouts from the United States government. Like Elon Musk would not exist were it not for the largesse of, the state. But yeah, it's weird that like he is doing some of that stuff that seems to be clearly like personally motivated corruption. But a lot of it is just, I don't know if it's, maybe he is more ideological than I thought he was, or maybe he's just really dumb. But like a lot of a lot of the DOGE stuff, it's like they're just going through on vibes. They haven't found like one example of corruption. They say they're getting rid of corruption, but like there's not been one example of like, oh, we found this kind of fraud going here. It's like this money's going to this thing, and I don't like that, so we're not going to do that anymore. Yeah, it's like USAID is a funny one because USAID is full on an arm of the security state and the CIA to exercise soft power around the world. That's what it is. So it's very odd to see like Trump and Elon Musk be like, yeah, I'm going after that, when like its real stated purpose is not unstated purpose is exercising soft power around the world.
Yeah, through influence, which is like by definition soft power. Have you seen some of the stuff that they did catch for USAID?
I don't know what is true and not with some of these so-called exposures about USAID.
We pay attention to this stuff probably more than normal people, and I couldn't tell you any real instances of fraud that they've found, but some things that they've claimed, that USAID was giving Jeffrey Epstein money in 2023, a few years after his death.
If I heard that information, but not coming from Elon Musk, I would have a very easy time believing that was true.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, but the screenshots of like this so the way I've seen it is like screenshots of records, and it's like sent from this department, transmitted to their name and then their like business. And it's just some guy with the name Jeffrey Epstein who's like a doctor in like Africa somewhere, who has like a nonprofit or whatever to like do this stuff. But like that, I'm sure that's going to be the stuff they're pointing at and be like, whoa, this is crazy. And then everyone's going to repeat it. And then the truth doesn't matter.
Well, there was the thing with Politico, which I do believe Politico's fake. No one actually reads it aside from Dan. You're the only person who's ever shared an article with me. So I don't buy that anyone's reading Politico. I think that is just a pure money laundering scheme.
It was like 80 million or something.
It was like 8 million, but
they're owned by
it's a little complicated. Basically, there's like Politico Pro, which is specialized news. It's similar to...
It's like a Bloomberg terminal, but for news.
Exactly. And there is some there, but not in the way that these idiots at DOGE think it is. So it costs like, I think like a couple of $1,000 a year or something, and it's used by corporations or government bodies or whatever to get kind of insider information through Politico. So there's something like scandalous there, but not in the way these idiots thought it was happening. And also it was not 8 million over the course of 1 year. It was like 8 million over the course of them subscribed to this for, a decade. And then there was a similar thing with the New York Times, but it was one of these idiots just typed in New York, and then we're like, oh my God, look at all this money going to the New York Times. It was like so it was just anything with New York in the title, like basically they were doing like a Google word search.
Yeah,
I want to bring up something to kind of ground this conversation about wondering how we should think about what they're doing. And this is unfortunately tweeted by Whit Stillman, a director I really like, but who's clearly on the right. This is the tweet he retweeted is from Drew Pavlo. Russia, China, and Iran have pulled off one of the greatest psychological warfare operations in recorded human history. They've somehow managed to gaslight the American MAGA right into dismantling the CIA and almost all American influence operations abroad.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it seems that like it's going that way.
What?
Also, the domestic one.
There's no way though, right? Like you honestly think that
Can America take any responsibility for anything it does anymore? Like,
Oh, I don't agree with like the China. I like forgot you even said that part, but it definitely seems like this administration, like at least by appearances, is making an attempt to look like they're rooting out the deep state.
right? Well, I'm sure
I don't think the CIA giving a name of probably a highly curated list of
oh god,
the
yeah.
last 2 years of like it's like that was not an accident. That and then I saw like the headlines like they accidentally doxed themselves. The CIA accidentally doxed themselves. Fuck yourself.
No,
Like,
the CIA does not show you anything that it doesn't want you to see, and it definitely doesn't show you anything useful that's actually going to give you real insight into how they're operating. I mean, check back to our last episode with Lisa Pease to know about those people. But like anybody who thinks that like the CIA like made a whoopsie with that is out of their goddamn mind.
Well, yeah, it reminds me of like in his first term when they were saying that Trump was really a Russian asset. It's giving me that same kind of consequence perception.
The thing with people thinking that the MAGA movement wants to dismantle the deep state as such is ridiculous because all of these people, Donald Trump especially, are the most America first people possible. And being America first means American hegemony, means American empire. So it's like there's no one more pro-American empire than Donald Trump. So the idea that he would want to take away the instruments of American power, i.e. the fucking deep like CIA, the State Department, like the idea that he would want to dismantle that is ridiculous.
just wants to co-opt it.
Yeah.
I think it's just this has always been the thing with Trump, and it's always been what like normie libs and normie Republicans have an issue with is not really with his policies, but with how gauche he is in executing them, right? He has always said the quiet part out loud, and that's what people don't like because he's giving away the scam. Right. You know, everything he's doing, like all this Project 2025 shit. I mean, that's been the conservative movement for the last 40, 50 years. It's just they were smart and subtle about it, of slowly taking away those liberties, slowly gaining that much more control. Like they want to, you know, that's always been the goal, to completely gut any kind of welfare state.
Yeah,
right?
I'm not surprised that Republicans want to cut the Department of Education.
Yeah, they've always wanted to do that. And it's just like Trump is, now we're getting to see what happens if you do it all at once. I mean, it really feels like looting right now.
The tactic is flooding the zone, right? That's how they do it. Yeah.
You're referencing Bannon's quote of
The Bannon quote?
Yeah, of like muzzle velocity. I've seen that go around. He was just talking to me, he's like, we're just gonna flood the zone, come at him hard and fast with muzzle velocity. The media will never be able to catch up. And while they're chasing like the surface level things that people are upset about, meanwhile, they're actually doing like systematic damage. Well, what I would consider to be damage, but actual changes.
It's working so far.
Our media is not set, or is not like built to work at this pace. It's like a blitzkrieg of media against
we have no
rather.
oppositional party.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is like kind of getting back to like the first episode we did where we talked about that article about like young men and this like conservative podcast apparatus. I think there's plenty of places for those thoughts to circulate online, whether or not like it's like informing a whole generation or if they're gravitated towards it for different reasons. But I think there's like a lot of cover going on. I've seen it online, like the All In podcast is just a bunch of billionaires. Are you familiar with this?
With David Sachs.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, and then I think David Sachs is the one who's like the crypto czar in Trump's administration now. So they have like an entire like media, like they have a following and a group of people who pretty much consent to anything that comes out of their mouths. I mean, I think it's fair to say if like you follow someone, you're kind of inherently trust them unless you're hate watching them, like me watching Ben Shapiro. And then you're just like, oh my God, I can't believe people swallow this shit. One thing that they put out was like, there was so much software. There's like X amount of dollars in software that the US government was paying for, and no one had even installed in their computers. It's like, okay, huge win. I've had jobs where they give me Microsoft Office and I don't use it, but it's just policy that I install it. Like, yeah, I mean, it's good. Like, if you can cut a few $1 million here and there, like, it's good to do that. But it's just not a structural win towards like ending the deep state. I don't know what these like victories amount to, I guess is what I'm saying.
Is that going to show up on our refund checks this year?
Speaking to like how they're getting, like how they can keep the base going along with it, I think a good example is one of his latest executive orders of getting rid of paper straws.
For it, that's a win.
Yeah, I mean it is.
Big W.
Like we all hate paper straws, and that is why he's able to keep working in this way. Is just like it's completely like grievance driven as far as it's completely grievance driven as far as like satisfying the base. So like paper straws, and then like going back to USAID. Again, it's a system of soft power, and the way they do it is, yes, they do good things. You know, a lot of people getting treated for HIV. There's a lot of like medical campaigns and whatnot. I don't know a lot about it, but like there are ostensibly good things that USAID does, but it's always to cover up the really nefarious shit that they're doing, right?
Yeah.
And like what I think the Trump administration would like to do is just get rid of the stuff that they think is woke and gay,
Yeah.
and just do the exercising power thing. Like,
yeah.
they don't have a problem with like the CIA nasty deep state shit that USAID is doing. They just don't like doing the cover up bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really easy to sell that to their base because they can be like, "What the fuck are we protecting people from HIV in Africa?" When
I guess there's a reason it's been weaved into the State Department now, right? They could just be explicit.
But now it's not covert.
Yeah.
So I don't understand. They're like, yeah, if this department comes and does anything in your country, we have a vested interest in it.
That's why all the Democratic media and Democratic officials were all pissed off about the USAID thing more than anybody else, because it's like, hey, motherfucker, you're giving up the game. Like, you can't tell people about our scam. We have a good thing going here. Like, don't you know what we're doing with this shit?
Well, it's something like we talked about, I think, in the first episode, maybe the second. Like, covert operations are covert against the home country. The people who it's being done to are obvious of what's going on, but like, it's a covert operation against the American public.
So they're just like willing to accept. They're like, all right, we know they're up to some bullshit, but we really need their money for like help with this, like, I don't know, like malaria outbreak or something.
I assume so, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, if you have like a leader assassinated or something like that, right?
Yeah. Or kept in power against the people's will. I would love to hear more about like other operations that have been done in its name.
This is a great title to a foreign policy mag, which is really an insider magazine. Cuban Twitter and other times USAID pretended to be an intelligence agency. The subhead is, foreign governments have long accused the U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID, of being a front for the CIA or other groups dedicated to their collapse. In the case of Cuba, they appear to have been right. In an eye-opening display of incompetence, the United States covertly launched a social media platform in Cuba in 2010.
Oh yeah, Zunzunio. I think that's how you say it. Yeah, Zunzunio is like Cuban Twitter. Yeah, the USAID, it created a secret social media platform to incite dissent and provoke anti-government protests in Cuba.
Jesus.
So it was disguised as like an innocent Twitter-like service, but it was intended to eventually be anti-regime and create regime change. I mean, obviously they've done a ton in Cuba. Again, we talked about like their HIV prevention programs is one of their big selling points. So in Cuba, you would have USAID like health people, like operatives, assets disguised as health workers who were there to recruit dissidents. Yeah, I mean, well, we know that they've done that all over the world, like, you know, like vaccine, fake vaccine programs or whatever to root out Al Qaeda or, whoever
In recent years, USAID's alleged political meddling has been more subtle. Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez frequently and famously accused the United States of covertly trying to overthrow him, but only after his death did evidence emerge to support his seemingly paranoid claims. A WikiLeaks cable released in 2013 outlined the U.S. strategy for undermining Chavez's government by, quote, penetrating Chavez's political base, unquote, quote, dividing Chavismo, unquote, and, quote, isolating Chavez internationally, unquote. The strategy was to be carried out by the USAID's Office for Transition Initiatives, the same office responsible for developing Cuban Twitter and involved funding opposition organizations in Venezuela. Yeah, I think that's how I've always heard of it, as basically funding opposition groups in a country that we don't like.
Yeah, which is American soft power, like at its core, right?
Yeah.
Just funding opposition groups. That's
yeah,
how I think of
dissident
it.
journalists as well. I mean, they really gave the game away. I saw that as a headline this week, that there was like, since the close of USAID, all independent journalists in Russia have been shut down. It's like, weird. Yeah. But yeah, they across the board, I'm looking at some of the big ones. Yeah, Chile, the USAID's Office of Public Safety helped train Chilean police and security forces in counterinsurgency techniques before the CIA-backed coup against Allende in 1973. Again, funded opposition media, Bolivia, support for opposition groups, Venezuela, like you already said. One of the big ones is 2014, Ukraine. USAID provided financial and logistical support to pro-Western civil society groups that played a role in the protests that led to the removal of Viktor Yanukovych, funding organizations promoting Western-aligned governance reforms after the revolution, Laos and Vietnam. This would be specifically, some of our listeners might be familiar with something called the Phoenix Program, which was basically a Black Ops kill squad during the Vietnam War. So this is like the precursor to the Navy SEALs working alongside the CIA. So USAID assisted CIA-backed operations, funding, quote, rural development projects that acted as fronts for counterinsurgency. So this was, Phoenix Program was a big thing of going in and getting intelligence. And a lot of it was just like getting normal people, citizens of Laos and Vietnam, to basically rat on their neighbors and say, oh yeah, this guy over here is Viet Cong. Yeah, linked to the Phoenix Program, which aimed to neutralize the Viet Cong through assassinations, torture, and other covert means. The Jakarta Method, Indonesia, support for anti-Sukarno forces back in the 50s and 60s. Nicaragua, support for the Contras. Haiti, interference in elections, destabilization. So this would be going against Aristide. So yeah, I mean, you ask anybody in the third world, they would be pumped about USAID getting shut down.
Divided than that, right? I mean,
from what you just said, I don't think there's enough information, right? There's just not enough there.
I mean, it has to be more of a mixed bag, right? I mean, if you are losing any kind of like vaccine programs, anti-HIV programs, again, like if your government's getting toppled, then you're getting like some right-wing capitalist leader now in your country, and you're probably losing those things anyways.
But this is the thing that was happening in during the early 2000s war on terror in like Afghanistan, and I think there was some stuff that happened in Pakistan as well. But like Afghanistan and Iraq, people found out that USAID vaccination teams were coming out, and they realized that it was actually CIA coming in to try and root out Al-Qaeda or whoever else. And then guess what happened? Local people did not trust the organization. So guess what they weren't doing? Getting fucking vaccines. Yeah. So
that's something they claim they never do too. They're like, we never use doctors. We never use religious figures. And I was just like, as soon as I heard it, I was like, that's absolute bullshit. Those are probably like your number one people that you use if you're saying that.
I mean, absolutely. Namesake of this podcast, Philip Agee, the original villain for All Seasons, in his book Inside the Company, he has multiple chapters where he talks about how the CIA had close relationships with Catholic bishops in South America, and they would they would influence them to give a anti-communist message in their weekly sermons or mass or whatever the fuck Catholics do. I don't actually know. So yeah, I mean, USAID is a great example of why no one in the third world or really anywhere outside of the United States should trust any kind of foreign aid coming from the United States or Western powers. And a lot of people don't for exactly these reasons, because there's always this ulterior motive. Now, I mean, going back to Musk and Trump, I don't know if Musk knows enough about USAID to know that.
He speaks as if he does. Like the proclamations on X make it seem as if he's some like anti-deep stater, etc.
Yeah. And if he's really pro deep state, he would not trust USAID. But I think maybe the other thing is, again, saying the quiet part out loud and just kind of looting, which I think is what this is, what's going on in the Trump administration right now. It's just like, it seems like every decree they're doing is a crime. It feels like literally every single thing that Trump is like laying down as an executive order is like, that seems like a crime. But it's like, I think, again, they would rather it just be all of those operations. So funding dissident journalists, religious figures, all that stuff. Can we do that without giving people vaccines, giving people, assistance and stuff? Can't we just have that all be swallowed up by the State Department, DOD, what have you? Probably
an antiquated way of peddling influence too, and they're just like, yeah, we don't really need to do it that way anymore. I mean, I'm sure the CIA has like their tentacles in a bunch of independent, like outside government programs. So they're like, this is kind of redundant anyways.
I think you're maybe giving them a little too much credit. I don't think they like the soft approach. I mean, examples like this, I think, are real accurate examples of how these people conduct themselves like fascists and want a fascist government. It's just, they're not literally Nazis. It's like, these are fascist tendencies. They don't want to execute soft power. They want to execute hard power. This is the thing that also annoys me with the way people are like, America's becoming fascist. When has America not been fascist? America had slavery. America had Jim Crow after that. America began on a genocide. America has been like murdering and murdering leaders and other people and overthrowing governments its entire time. It has always been a fascist operation. Now we have these crude gauche billionaires doing it loudly.
Trump says, I'm going to lean in.
Taking
Put a gold toilet on it, baby.
Yeah. I mean, that was the famous moment from that Bill O'Reilly interview. And this is one of the reasons that people thought he was like a Russian Manchurian candidate. I don't know if he praised Putin, but he said something to the fact like, he's killed people, right? Bill O'Reilly said that Trump.
Right.
And Trump he's like, we've killed some people too, right?
He's like, we got some great killers.
Yeah.
Who the fuck do you think he's talking about? He's talking about the CIA. He's talking about the Navy SEALs. He's talking about things like
Phoenix program.
Yeah.
Ryan Graham's tweet was about a Pakistan election, that the USAID paid for Pakistan's election commission to oversee an election that was flagrantly stolen by the military isn't actually waste, I'd argue, because it served American interests to prop up the military dictatorship. We got what we paid for. I would certainly classify it as bad, though.
Wait, so Grim was saying that in a positive light?
Not like an erotic. It exposed. Yeah. It's just we caught ourselves in the butt right there.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're just doing quick fire reactions to this. Okay, cool. So we have here from the Huffington Post by Ashley Holt. Trump supporters shared how he could lose their support, and there's one issue that's very important to them.
Continue disregarding the laws of this country. We elected a president, not a king.
And this is
bullshit. Bullshit.
They love it.
They absolutely would love it, king.
They fucking love it. Yeah, that is absolute horseshit.
Daddy's home.
That's their favorite thing about him.
Going back to, I think this is also why people fucking hate the Democrats. They're too democratic. They're too like, let's just make sure we can all agree.
You have to go through the procedures.
Yeah, the rules.
The procedures.
Yeah, I'm calling bullshit on that. That
Okay.
person is an undercover Democratic operative posing as a Trump supporter.
Yeah, this is actually an op or not segment.
That's an
Okay.
op.
Okay. I think Andrew, you're next.
If Trump didn't follow through with his promise to deport all illegal migrants, eliminate DEI, purge the FBI, and ban transgenders, which I just think is probably
Yeah.
that's like
wrong.
when people say the gays. I think that is like the funniest like misuse of language. And ban transgenders, he would lose my support.
Mine too.
That's a fucking tall order.
Dude, that's like 7 things.
That's huge.
That's ridiculous.
He's
the
optically
FBI.
done a good job on all these though.
Well, here's the fun thing with that, which speaks to Trump's genius, is that when you have like such big goals that are so broad, how can you ever conclusively say it's not done yet? Like we're in the process of it happening. It's sort of like the reverse version of what the Dems do. Is like it's just down the road. It's just down the road. So it's like whoever this guy is, he's not going to abandon him because it's like, oh, he's almost there, or he got blocked for that, or something.
Also, where are you going to go? Like this is like one, this guy told you these things were the problem. Like these were all made up fucking things.
This is going to be Fetterman's platform too. This is how the Dems are going to get this guy.
They're going to
This is
outflank
their
him.
target constituency.
They're going to try. They're going to try.
Anyway, I think it's like, so this person, they already lost Trump's support, but Trump lost my support on Inauguration Day when he could not move the country forward by providing optimism, positivity, and hopefulness to the United States. Trump presented as a threat right away, and I know my voting for him was a big, big mistake.
That's another Democratic op.
It's got to be an op, right?
That's not a Trump supporter.
He didn't change it all.
Who was waiting for healing? Who voted for him? He'll bring this country together.
Yeah. The looting is the fun part. What the fuck are they talking about? What it's like? Oh, I thought he was going to be nice.
I'm one Mr. Nice Trump.
I'm from West Virginia, and his recent freeze of federal programs hurt my family and many friends. He has lost my support already.
How long is it going to take for people to actually realize that these things are going to affect them, though? I mean, of West Virginia, they definitely need these programs, but I don't think anyone's feeling it yet.
Yeah, first of all, it does feel like an op because it's like, what, he's been president for 2 weeks. You're feeling it already. I hate to call all of these ops, but it is like we talked about before, the proverbial neighbor talking about tariffs.
Yeah. This one specifically reminds me of things I've seen. It's like, I didn't know Obamacare was Medicaid or Medicare.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, I'm sure that happened to a person.
Joe Manchin told me blah, blah, blah. Yeah, no, yeah. This is, again, so these ones are like 40% operatives. Okay, next one.
Next one's great.
The only thing he could do to make me unhappy with him is if he would start putting liberal policies back in place. I love what he's doing right now. I mean,
yeah, that's real. That's definitely real.
I guess, but like, no one's expecting him to do that.
Whoever this person is loving life, so good for you.
Red Glue 59.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, the only not anonymous source is Red Glue 59.
Yeah. Okay, 6. We voted for border security. We didn't vote for my husband to lose his government career and benefits, which he has worked so hard. Oh, there's a longer, but for this one, this possibility is looming over countless families right now. We don't know what our financial future holds. My husband dedicated the better part of his life to this country, first in the military, now working for the government. I've watched as he busted his ass every single day for this job. Our story is like many others, yet they, the Trump administration, see them as budget line items. Again, he campaigned on this, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know where this so people say there's like uninformed or misinformed or just informed voters, but like, how fucking uninformed do you have to be to not know that the words coming out of his mouth?
Also, your husband like works for the government.
Oh, wait, sorry. This quote goes on. We are not a fucking line item. We are real people with families who need to put food on the table just like everyone else. We have done nothing but support this country. To be disregarded and tossed out to save a buck is sickening. I support Trump on many things, but I won't support him on this. He has already lost my support.
Op. Yeah.
Ben,
Fucking verbose too. Like, I worry that he will reduce Social Security benefits before I reach retirement age, putting me in a predicament of having to continue to work until 67 or even 70. If that's not fucking boomers in a nutshell, fuck that entire generation. Like, it's like, yeah, I want him to cut Social Security after I have it. These fucking, like,
I don't.
fucking boomers have ruined the world, and like they still want their cut. It's like, how much pampering do you fucking need? You bought a house for like $2,000. You probably have like a sweet retirement fund, and now you're complaining that you might have to work 2 more years to get your Social Security so you can wait until Trump guts it like a year after. Like,
I don't.
This person's definitely a Trump voter, and fuck boomers is what I get from this.
Yeah.
Also, you got your benefits up front. You know, your $2,000 house was the was the check.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
If he magically morphed into Joe Biden,
Not enough.
Not enough. That's pure Trump voter right there.
do you remember what was going around? Thinking like he was kind of like a skinwalker thing. Like Trump didn't lose; he actually won, and he's like face off. He is currently like did a body swap with Joe Biden, and he's this was like 2020 when people couldn't accept that Trump wasn't actually president. You guys remember this?
No.
Or was I just in a weird spot on the
I love it
internet?
though.
Yeah,
You got to get off Reddit, man. But that's a good one.
I love it. I love it.
I've not heard a good face-off conspiracy.
9 is tank the economy because he's too arrogant, or drag us into a war because he can't keep his mouth shut. I don't think this is an op, because I do think there is some reticence on Trump voters of how reckless he can be, even though they love the recklessness sometimes.
The whole madman theory of foreign policy.
I think this is real.
I've seen it enough. Yeah.
And it's funny, like I think there are a lot of Trump voters who know that they were signing a deal with the devil. Like they know that all of these things are very possible. I think there's less delusion in a lot of these voters than people on the left sometimes see clearly. Like they do know that he could tank the economy. They do know that he could get us into a war, which he'll probably do both. I don't know.
Yeah.
That sucks. Definitely tank the economy. Maybe not. But like last week, maybe tariffs work. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, the tariffs didn't happen. They already like stopped. So I don't think the Mexico. Yeah.
Do you see any fentanyl in the schools right now, Andrew?
That's true. Yeah. Add that to the list of wins.
He had already lost my support for attacking federal workers who are veterans. Op.
Yeah. Well, look at 11.
If he went woke, I would stop supporting him. That's it.
That's it. Chilean 84.
Chilean 84.
I hope he does go woke. That'd be awesome.
If he badmouthed JD Vance, he'll lose my support if he tried to get a third term. Op. However, he's better than the other options, in my opinion. There are fair arguments for and against both sides on the aisle. At least he keeps his promises, regardless of how good or bad they were. That's more than most politicians could say.
That is probably true.
Yep.
I'm gonna say not an op. It is very funny to me that like JD Vance somehow has a fan club. That's an odd.
That's a niche fan club, though.
Yeah, big one, though.
Yeah, the few the proud. Okay, what else we got?
He had some drama defending that one like racist guy who got fired from DOGE.
Yeah.
That was happening like last night.
And they think they should bring him back. Jeez.
Yeah, he was defending him. He's like he's a young guy, and he just because of one tweet he shouldn't be fired. You know, if he's bad at his job, then you can fire him, but not because he's racist. Or he could change his mind. I don't know. It was a very dumb argument, and I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, who among us? I'm just going to read this one that has my name by it. If he starts imposing even larger tariffs without building up our gas and oil supply, so instead of prices going down, they go up to 2021, 2022 levels, which is what it seems like he's doing. That's an op. I don't believe that. That's not a real person.
If he takes away grants that assisted underprivileged people such as SNAP, Meals on Wheels, Head Start, veteran services, my heart breaks just thinking my vote may have contributed to this.
Op.
Well, when was this written? Because that's like day one shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got bad
Or
news
I guess
for
he
you,
went
buddy.
back on some of it, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, who do you think he's talking about when he's talking about freeloaders? Like, he fucking hates poor people.
21st century Reagan.
Yep.
This one has my name to it. If he does anything other than increase Social Security, any cuts would be a reason to vote for impeachment.
That's real. I think that's real.
I mean, definitely boomer voting.
What do you mean increase? So,
Yeah.
like increase
Yeah, like
the
the
taxes on
payout?
it, or increase the payout? Yeah.
Or the age, I wonder if they're talking about.
Oh, it's probably the age because that has been pushed around.
Yeah. That was from contributor Me Kent.
That's another, yeah. Again, these fucking boomers. I told you. I think that's real. Oh, and then we got finally, I am a one-issue voter, border control. All right, not answering the question there. Broad, blanket, unrelated statement. That's definitely real.
What happens if he absorbs Canada and Mexico, though? That's like kind of the antithesis of a strong border, isn't it? Just incorporating everyone in those areas.
Yeah, wouldn't that be worse?
You'd imagine.
Never thought of it that way. But yeah, that's the thing. I don't know. The border control, again, it goes back to these ethereal promises that you can never really say he succeeded and you can never really say he failed. It's a great line to have going for him because, like, you can't refute anything and he doesn't actually have to do anything because you can't do anything. There's no fixing it.
Especially when you can manipulate statistics. If you're like, those statistics aren't real, and then if everyone believes that they're not real. That's something that's always bothered me. Is like when people are like, well, the jobs reports are always fake. It's like, well, I mean, they get adjusted. They get adjusted a few times, like over the course of a year, but they're not fake.
Yeah. They're like when my team is in power.
Yeah. Well, if they just don't
Yeah.
go your way, that's something that just bothers me. The inconsistency.
So here's from the Telegraph. Trump, I won't deport Prince Harry. He's got enough problems with Meghan. As Duke of Sussex faces legal battles over his visa status, President takes aim at his, quote, terrible wife.
I don't want to do that, the president said. I'll leave him alone. He's got enough problems with his wife. She's terrible.
He said this at drag brunch.
This is the thing, though. Sometimes, Trump 2.0, sometimes it's less fun, obviously, with the horrible things he's doing. And also, sometimes you just feel like he's lost his fastball. But then sometimes he just comes out with a banger like this. And you're like, the motherfucker can still play. Like, he's still got it. I didn't look into it, but how the fuck does Prince Harry have trouble securing a fucking visa?
Yeah. Yeah, we got to figure that one out.
It's like, you have all the money in the world. Get it together. And you have an American wife. Like,
when is our vote on this one? Is it a W?
W for Trump.
Yeah, anytime an American takes down the British monarchy, I don't care who it is. I don't care what it's about.
He's truly a Scotsman in this way.
I love this because also I think, well, this kind of goes back to some of what we've been speaking about today is just, so there's an alternate universe that I talk about all the time that we could have lived in where Trump was like a Lower East Side drag queen / gossip columnist. Like, that's the perfect world we could have lived in, right? Like, Trump just, when Trump talking about celebrity gossip and celebrity matters is his perfect form. And he's hilarious at it and he's so good at it. If he would have found some like drag queen in the Village back in the 70s to be his mentor rather than Roy Cohn, we would live in just such a better world. But it's like this is also makes me think of I mean, there's so many of these people in the right-wing media sphere that like clearly all just wanted like jobs in Hollywood. You know, they wanted entertainment jobs and then they weren't talented enough or whatever, so they became right-wing pundits. Right. So like obviously Ben Shapiro, Jeremy Boring, all those guys over like the Daily Wire, but also like that reel I sent you guys this week that my wife was showing me about Candace Owens talking about this celebrity scandal with Blake Lively on her new movie. Candace Owens is owning it in that. She's so good at it. And it's like, why can't, or like, have you guys seen the video of Ben Shapiro talking about the Wicked movie?
That shit is.
Oh,
I think I saw a clip of that. Yeah.
He is in seventh heaven. When I first saw it, I was like, this is AI, right? Nope, it's just him reviewing how great the Wicked movie is. It's like we could live in such a good world if we like reignite like the Hollywood channel and just take all of these people from the Daily Wire and just put them on there and let them talk about celebrities because that's what they want to do anyway.
Yeah, let them get it out. I always thought that was so weird that Ben Shapiro chose to live in LA. I don't know where he's from. I mean, he lives in like Tennessee or something.
He went out there to become a screenwriter, I think, right?
Is that his origin story?
I think he's from California because either one or both of his parents were like a Hollywood composer.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, like
that's cool.
He has a music background, so yeah, he wanted to be.
Oh, and his sister's like an opera singer or something.
Right. Yeah.
And yet another L for Prince Harry.
Yeah. He get a W, man.
He can't catch a break. I mean,
no.
And to be fair, Trump is spitting some fire. Meghan Markle's fucking annoying. I'm no royalist, but somehow Meghan Markle put me on the side of like the Queen and the royal family against her.
Ben's very ex the monarchy now.
She made me pro monarchy.
From Gustavo Petro, Colombian president. Cocaine is no worse than whiskey. It's only illegal because it's made in Latin America. Capital W. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, they said, you can die by consuming too much of both. What would happen if they legalized it there?
Other than it'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they
tourism
should do
would fucking boom.
Well, maybe it'll just become, like California or Massachusetts, any of the places in the States where weed's legalized. Then you get like to open a whole new market of different ways of ingesting cocaine. You get to have cocaine
sodas.
You get to have the cocaine vapes,
repositories,
gummies, repositories. I mean, also like the options are endless. This would be
a cocaine vape, a crack vape. I love that.
Yeah, it's incredibly cheap at that point, right? Right.
Give me that discount.
I don't know. What do we think? Do we agree with Petro? No worse than whiskey?
Well, they did announce that whiskey is or alcohol in general is like a cancer-causing agent, and it should be labeled like cigarettes. I think the FDA came out with that.
The worst hangover.
I haven't heard any such claims on cocaine yet. So
never heard of no one catching cancer from cocaine. So we have that.
Yeah.
In the pro cocaine.
Yeah, maybe fun cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you want to get the cancer of having an awesome Friday.
Yeah, this should be a core pillar of DOGE, just mething people up like a German soldier, but with cocaine, getting shit done late on a Friday night.
Well, they're all probably on like some stupid ketamine injection or something like Elon Musk is into, or some kind of microdosing that they're not measuring correctly. I mean, of the many things that like fucking Silicon Valley assholes have ruined in modern culture, I think one that goes under the radar a lot is like drug use.
Go on.
Yeah, it's like they fucking like realize like, oh, if I do mushrooms in tiny amounts, then I get like better at more productive at doing my emails and like statements and stuff. Fuck them. They ruin everything.
It's unlocked my productivity. I can code faster. It's like this alpha brain like supplement that Joe Rogan peddles. It's all that. It's all like biohacking.
Exactly.
Sucks is what you're saying.
Yeah, no. If you're gonna do hallucinogens, like nut up and like try to meet the lizard god.
If
Yeah.
you're not nearing pain or fright, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, your personality should be forever altered after these experiences, and you shouldn't be doing them every day. So you're more like to boost your productivity. Like what kind of fucking talk about a capitalist CIA op? That's the final form of MK Ultra right there. It's like they're like, oh, okay, now LSD is gonna make you better at your stupid ass email job. Fuck them.
Your email job.
Ruined
I love that.
ruined everything.
So this is from the New York Post.
Yeah.
Pelosi's daughter
Yeah.
rips Lady McBiden. All right. It should be Mac Biden. We talked about this, right?
Yeah.
Pelosi's daughter rips Lady McBiden, tells Jill Biden to put on big girl pants with Joe.
Joe wears big girl pants.
God, the entire like Capitol rotunda, is that just like it must
It's
look
pretty
like
sad.
you're walking around like a memory care facility
Like-
at this point. That thing with Mitch McConnell where he like came out for a statement and he's like wearing that fucking bandage and
On
he's
his
just
head.
like staring out. It's like I got no love for Mitch McConnell, but like looking at it, I was like yelling at my screen, being like, someone just kill him, please. This is like
It reminds me of that
so cruel.
Chris Stevens tweet. It said, Jimmy Carter votes by mail. It was like a horrible thing. It said, please God, just show up mailbox.
We got to get him on. Wait, so yeah, I don't know who Pelosi's daughter is. First of all, when is this article from and what specifically is she referring to? Because the Lady Macbeth allusion, I think is pretty accurate for Jill Biden.
And for people who don't know the play, Macbeth, she was essentially pulling the strings of a pretty flaccid ruler, the king.
For those of you who aren't familiar with the canon of Shakespeare, Lady Macbeth is Macbeth's bitch wife who, right after Macbeth gets a job or like a raise and a promotion at his job, she's like, "It's not good enough. You should kill the king," and she ruins everything.
Do we think our audience knows this
The
player?
most famous horrible woman, basically, in all of literature and theater.
Yeah.
There aren't many people left in America who have something nice to say about Joe Biden, and Nancy Pelosi is one of them, the younger Pelosi said. While Nancy Pelosi was adamant she never called anybody during the mutiny, calling it a mutiny is great. She had left open the possibility that jittery Democrats had called her and that she was heavily behind the effort to oust Joe Biden. I remember, maybe it wasn't this article, it was something else, but Nancy Pelosi hurt herself abroad and she was recovering, and Joe Biden never reached out to her to express sympathy or something. Oh, what's this? At one point, she publicly suggested Joe Biden deserved a spot on Mount Rushmore.
I feel like they always do this.
People want Trump up there, who actually I think is way more deserving of being on Mount Rushmore than Joe Biden. People aren't going to really remember Joe Biden, I don't think. If you were to redo it today.
Just Trump and Biden, just the two of them.
Yeah. They really are the most deserving.
You ever seen those portraits of everyone around a pool table laughing and shooting pool?
Yeah.
And my favorite ones where it's just all the Republican heroes. You got
it's
Teddy
like
Roosevelt,
Tucker Carlson and
Tucker Carlson's on there too.
Tucker Carlson, Andrew Tate.
Oh my God, yeah! And then they throw John F. Kennedy in there because just everyone liked John F. Kennedy.
Yeah,
I don't know, maybe because he was Catholic
this
or something.
Is my favorite one. 10 million for the chance to Lincoln's table.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this. Yeah, this is the one I was thinking of. So it's
I see Trump,
Ben Shapiro, Elon Musk, Trump, Andrew Tate, David Goggins, Jordan Peterson. Who's the guy in the right corner?
Maybe Andrew Tate's brother.
Oh yeah, Tristan Tate. Yeah, it's probably him.
Wait. So is the guy with the backboard this Lincoln? Is this supposed to be Lincoln?
I was thinking Lenin.
Did you notice in the background it's Kamal?
Oh man.
Did you notice Kamal in the background?
No. Yeah.
It's like a redhead.
She's very upset though.
I think it's just a redhead hottie who's admiring them.
Right.
Be my guest is the caption.
Wait, so who's the guy between Tate and Trump behind them, standing up.
David Goggins.
He's like an ex-Navy SEAL who he's just he's on Rogan a lot and he's like written some like books, but like he's literally famous for like running ultra marathons every other day and like doing 5,000 pull-ups in a day. He's seriously like a mentally insane person. Like he's not really he's just the most enabled person with extreme mental illness
Yeah.
that
Who refuses to seek therapy and
just got a media career. Like that's all David Goggins is. He's like one of those guys who's like, don't do 10 push-ups, do 100 push-ups.
Increase your
1,000 push-ups. Yeah.
Pain is weakness, leaving the body is like his mantra. He is kind of like gone in this route of like self-help in a way of like mentoring young men, I think.
He's like a self-help thing, but he is like the crack cocaine version of it. Like again, he's just a highly enabled mentally ill person because like his self-help is terrible. Like his catchphrase is like "stay hard," which is hilarious.
Dude, that's awesome.
But he's like he's billed as like the toughest man in the world just because he runs a lot of marathons. But the funny thing is, like, and he'll talk about it in interviews of like his body is like, if you see him with his shirt off or whatever, he's very fit, but like his body is absolutely shot because of the way he works out. So he's got like no cartilage in like his knees and his ankles and stuff. Like he's like destroying his body just because he has this like psychotic need to like do pull-ups and push-ups and shit. But yeah, he got famous because some guy, I think was a writer or like a journalist, had heard about him somehow because Goggins, I think, had like gone through SEAL training and Green Beret training and like something like that. He's just a guy who loves exercising. Oh, wait. He was fat?
He was really, really fat.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. City's reminding me. Goggins was like really, really fat. Then he joined the army, went into the SEALs and all of that stuff. But then this journalist found out about his story and like asked him to train him. And Goggins was like, well, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it right. So I'm going to live in your house. I'm going to sleep on your floor. And like, I'm going to make, and like, he did it. So like, and this, by the way, this guy like is like a grown man who has a wife. So like, this guy's like in his marital bed and David Goggins is like sleeping
with his wife
on like a yoga mat on the floor. And just at like 3 a.m. every day for a year or whatever was like, rise and shine, motherfucker, get up.
Just torturing this poor family.
Yeah.
I never knew this.
Yeah. So this man just like, I don't know if he's still married. I hope not for the wife's sake. But yeah, he just invited the psychopath into his home who like made him do burpees for a year. Are we even going to comment on Lady McBiden? We got off away from that.
So Nancy Pelosi fell on some trip
in Luxembourg, apparently. That's what I was looking up.
That's where it was, Luxembourg? Okay.
Yep.
And the Bidens never like called to check in on her, and then her daughter got very upset about it.
I don't know who Nancy Pelosi's daughter is. I assume she's a piece of shit. Divorced from context. I do have to agree with her characterization of Joe Biden. Joe Biden very clearly was assisting heavily in this Weekend at Bernie's farce that we've all had to live through over the last 4 years of carting around her corpse of a husband to events and stuff. I mean, we all remember like that rally they did like the day after of the debate. When she's like, Joe, you did so good. You remembered all your lines and stuff. And it was just like, you evil bitch. Let him retire. This is crazy.
Make him retire.
Likening her to Lady Macbeth is not a bad characterization. But yeah, it's funny that like Nancy Pelosi's daughter would be mad about him not calling her horrible mother. I mean, they took away everything he loved. It's the only thing he ever wanted was to be president forever. And they stole that from him. And yeah, anybody who thinks he went graciously behind closed doors is lying to themselves. He went kicking and screaming.
People actually say that?
Well, remember when he stepped down, like, and everyone's like, he did the right thing. for the good of the nation.
They
it's like
retroactively painted him to be, but it's like, no, you fucking should have done this 3 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, what are the what are the odds that like Pelosi and Obama sat him down and were like, you're going to get fucking Kennedy tomorrow if you do not step down? I mean, I have an easy time believing that.
You do? Or you don't?
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
You think Kamala would have won if there was assassination attempt, if a bullet grazed his ear?
Yeah.
I think that goes a long way in terms of like the stubbornness of the American people.
If they would have actually shot him and killed him, maybe.
Yeah.
That was the only win.
Maybe that could have bought her some. But they would have had to do it before the debate. It was too obvious after the debate.
Yeah, the debate pretty much sealed it. I don't think anything
after
on
the
it
debate. If Joe Biden got murdered right after that debate, I would assume it was literally Nancy Pelosi or Obama pulling the trigger.
I think we need to bring back dueling. Like that would be fucking sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're too old to duel, you can't represent me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, words to live by.
I think that's a good way to make a lot of decisions. Yeah. Who is it? Aaron Burr that got killed in a duel?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wait, no.
I don't know.
Famously,
I haven't watched Hamilton.
Yeah, he put his gun up in the air. His son died, I think, in a duel. Actually, I don't know if Aaron Burr died during a duel.
Burr shot Hamilton.
Hamilton got killed. What a bitch.
Yeah.
He died like a dog.
Okay.
What would have been great is if Biden got assassinated and Trump just kept shit talking him.
Another one bites the dust. Disney removes diversity, equity, inclusion initiatives.
Okay.
Comply.
Taking pronouns out of emails. I just don't understand like what good this is. I don't care. Sure. If this gets us closer to healthcare.
When the pendulum swings back, this is going to be so annoying.
I think this is it swinging back, honestly. The whole DEI push was so that Democrats didn't actually have to do anything. That was their fodder to like give to the base. Like Obamacare, for example. People actually love it. People do love it. It helped out a lot. It's helping out a lot of people. It's flawed in a lot of ways. But when the Republicans gained control back, they knew if they got rid of it, it would be a fucking disaster. No one gives a shit about DEI. They're just going to get rid of it because it's just words. There's no structural thing there. So I don't think it's good. There is going to be a pushback to this.
No,
I don't think there's going to be a rise again of DEI, whatever.
We talked about this last week when it comes to the tech companies or whatever. I mean, none of these companies are going the way of MAGA, like actually. It's just they're doing what's good for their bottom line, right? So anything that's going to make the current administration fuck with you less. So like if there's a Democrat in 2028, all of this stuff is going to swing back again. But yeah, I think you're right. This is the pendulum swinging back the other way. I mean, this is what happens when you get your party in power, and it's like what sucks about politics so much right now is that like when the Dems were in power, like from the Obama years, and then like really when they were lining up Clinton for it and they thought it was in the bag, people forget like how much the Dems were feeling themselves and were really thought they had inherited the earth and were the most annoying people on earth. And then what? They ate shit. And then now you got MAGA people feeling themselves. And then like everyone kind of shut the fuck up for Biden on the liberal side because they know they just eked by with a win. Like no one was super proud of it. But like now MAGA's back in and they're feeling themselves hard. Like they are so proud. The party's happening now. But what happens when you're feeling yourself that much is you bite off way more than you can chew. Like the Dems, I think, pushed way too hard on the identity stuff, exactly, Park, because, so they wouldn't have to do anything real. And they pissed everybody off with it. Now we're just seeing the other side of it. But I mean, also, good. More white princesses. I haven't seen a white princess in ages, and obviously...
I assume you're looking away at your angry wife right now.
She is my white princess. What are you talking about?
Everybody, thanks for listening. This is Villain for All Seasons. I'm Dan.
I'm Andrew.
I'm still Ben.
Villain for All Seasons. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. See y'all next week.